Living Ramadan tonight. Funny man Yasin Barnes shares an insight into his rise in the comedic stakes, his inspiration, and living his Ramadan. As a result of the spiritual dynamics of this holy month, Ramadan touches the hearts and minds of more than just the Muslim community. Masjid al-Quds hosts their annual Interfaith Iftar program. This year, the guests included Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Premier Helen Ziller. Satar Parker, chairperson of the mosque board, gives the background to this all-encompassing program. The Consul General of the Indian High Commission in Cape Town, Punit R. Kundal, gives his perspective of a global Ramadan. Inspirational and motivational speaker Abdul Ghani Babu Fablanka shares his insights on how one should live their life. They say dynamite comes in small packages. Khalid bin Walid Peck provides us with some pertinent Ramadan advice.
I was never the funny guy in school, so when I got into, for me, I never used to make jokes, and then I started Twitter. My Twitter took off, and I learned how to tell a small joke in a small amount of characters. And someone on Twitter found me, and then they were like, yo, why didn't you try this on stage? I think I was ignorant enough to try it, and lo and behold, I'm here today because of starting telling jokes on Twitter. I was working for an insurance company, but I won't say what name. Let's just say they're under the umbrella at the moment. And it was an internship, so I was working and studying. And it felt almost like I was doing like a Batman job. In the daytime, no one knew I was behind a desk. And then at nighttime, I was performing on big stages with big names, and it was a lot of fun. Until it got to a point where I got a call from Comedy Central, and it happened to fall in the same week that I was writing exams. And then on one Friday night, I had to sit down with my parents and decide if I'm going to tell jokes or if I'm going to do insurance. And I made the choice of, I want to tell jokes, Mom and Dad. Then my mother was like, if this makes you happy, we support you. My father, he was a bit more cautious, which makes sense now looking back, because they just want you to be happy for the rest of your life. That's all they want, and you must be good, you supported, happy for your life. And my father said, if you go do this, it might go big, it might not go big, what do you want to do? That might be good now, might fall down, but if this is what you want to do, and this makes you happy, then go through with it. So my parents, they understood the caution, they warned me about it as well, but I also had the support, which was really, it makes a big difference.
This girl from the Netherlands, but she said that she was on a work and travel program, that's why she's here. And I was like, that's funny, because her people from the Netherlands put my people on a work and travel program. Slavery. Is that too real for you guys? Is that what we're doing the line? Yeah.
I was never the joker in the class. I was just the guy making small comments in the back. And then with the internet gave me a voice where I could be heard to people of like mind, or people that got my kind of humor, they got me. And just by me doing my own kind of funny, my own kind of comedy, it developed into my own brand, yeah. I do deadpan, one-liner deadpan jokes, where it's just the shortest form of a joke. It's set up, punchline. No still long stories, everybody else has stories, I just do. It's like also known as dad jokes, where it's boring, but it hurts inside when you hear the joke, but you love it anyway. And I like telling, I'll say boring jokes, that's my thing. And it's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's what I like. And I've met a lot of people who like my thing, and that makes me happy. Living life, I live my life where I like to go out of my comfort zone, and just to see things, to see situations, to talk to people of all kinds of worlds, because it's all information that I can absorb. And just by taking in things, you go like, there's a joke in there somewhere, there's a joke in there somewhere, and out pops a joke.
Colored people, we have different kinds of sports. We do stuff like make donuts in polos and golfs. I feel like there are Indian guys judging me now because they're going, polos and golfs don't make donuts, it's fine, we got you guys.
I'm at the point now where I have to pay bills, so I have to perform in the fast. People have asked me like, why didn't you not perform in the fast? And like, Hashim Amla must go work in the fast. He must go bat. He scored a century now or so, and he was fasting while doing it. Luckily, my job is after Maghrib, so I get to eat first and then go. And I don't spend as much time out now. So my thing is, I go to the gig, I perform, and then I come home again. but I have to work. So I do this thing, but I try and do it less because I try to spend more time with my Quran and with my religion for the month. I try to take tax. I say take tax because that's what I feel like the fast is. It's tax season for your soul, where you go and you take heed of what's been happening in the world, what's been happening in your world, and you just go, I need to do this with my life. This is the year I had, and I'm grateful for this. Let me show this month of appreciation. So with regard to me performing, I try and perform less. So I just go on stage just to do my job, but also not be rusty. I love my life at the moment. Like I just love it in the sense of I get to do my job, and my job makes me happy. My job is to make others happy, and that's enough drive for me. Where I can go and I'll maybe do a job that involves a charity company, and then I get to help others, and that's a reward for me. So every day I wake up and I go, Alhamdulillah, my job is to help people. For the moment that I hear people laugh, it's the moment they're not thinking about their troubles. They're not thinking about their bills every day, and they're not thinking about the children that make them upset. They're not thinking about anything else except the moment I make them laugh. And that is the gift I give to myself every day. So I get excited for my job because I have this job. I find the humor in everything, but I laugh at very silly things though. Like Mr. Bean, I still laugh loud at Mr. Bean because he doesn't say anything, but it's funny. Also, there's some sheikhs who give funny talks, because that for me is amazing, because they can bring the Deen in and still be funny at it. That, I take my hat off, my face off to them.
What lesson?
There's so many lessons that's in the fast that's here for us to learn. The one is perseverance, that there are troubled times that we have, but if we push through, it will work out in the end. The other is also that we can live with less, especially in this world of so much. This capital world, there's a world of a lot of greed, and people are just wanting more all the time. The fast teaches us to pace ourselves. You don't need everything all the time. At the end of the day, you can have your food, but you don't need to have it all the time. And if you start living our lives with less and giving more, that's the other thing. You don't need to rush to anything. We can slow down this very busy lifestyle we live, and you can just take heed and take note of where we are with ourselves, where we are in the world, and where we are with our Creator as well. And there's so many other lessons, and that's the nice thing of every time you go to the mosque, the Imam is always giving a talk, and then it's like one good time you can learn something. I'm also all about that thing of I can learn. If I can learn, I'm going to be there. So that's the nice thing I like of the fast. It brings a community together of interacting with people on a nice spaces. You get to see all these different people start selling kusis, they start selling samosas and dalchis, and all of that is just nice because you get to meet the community as well. Because of the place that I am now, it's it's given me the opportunity to learn more about my religion. So when I meet non-Muslims, then it's my duty to teach them. Because a lot of people, sometimes they say, I'll say ignorant things, but it's also because they don't know. And I can't get upset with them if they say, no, but you must just drink water. It's fine. Then you go, it's not like that. Then it's my duty to let me teach them a bit about Islam, a bit about our culture as well. What is the tradition and what is the religion? That's the other thing that we normally weigh up. And a lot of them are very open to the thought of fasting. A lot of my friends as well, I'll say the other comedians, some days they phone me and they go, you know, Yasin, this morning I woke up and I didn't eat. Can I fast? Like, is it still fine to? Then I come, let me tell you about the fasting. And then they sort of get on board. Sometimes they book up on me as well. And I know they also just love the samosas. That's how they think you get rewarded with samosas at the end of the fast. But yeah, so it's one more space I get to spread the message of Islam as well with my colleagues.
As a result of the spiritual dynamics of this holy month, Ramadan touches the hearts and minds of more than just the Muslim community.
What does Ramadan mean to me and how does it affect my life? Well, as a South African who was brought up in Durban but now lives in Cape Town, I was at school with a whole lot of Muslim friends who, while I was growing up, this was something that I was aware of, and although it didn't affect me and my life in an immediate way, I was always sort of cognitive of the fact when they were fasting and at school, and appreciative that was obviously quite a difficult thing to go through, especially after playing, doing a full day of school and then having to play sport. But it's only in recording this clip and thinking about it that I've realized although on paper I know exactly, what it's about, and I can appreciate it as a different religion to how I've been brought up, it's amazing to me just how little we know about each other's religion. And thinking about this and recording this clip has really brought it to my attention that it's something that I'd love to know more about, and I wish that it affected my life in a bigger way, other than trying to be supportive of work colleagues and people, friends, and people that I work with or interact with on a daily basis during this very special time. I don't really know enough. And the fasting side of things, in Christianity, we don't have something to directly compare that to. And it's something that I find very interesting, connecting on a much deeper spiritual level. And I feel like through doing research and asking people about this with different religions, sometimes we get scared to ask things because we feel that it may be the wrong question. And doing this clip has kind of brought it forward to my attention that we do need to ask and be more inclusive and share. It's the kind of thing that I'd love to know more about. From a Muslim's perspective and not just from my outside view in, especially with the fasting. It's something that I find really, really interesting, and I would love to include into my life in some way and understand on a deeper meaning.
Jeff, I've been asked to give a comment on the Ramadan. I just feel that I work with a lot of fantastic colleagues that are Muslim, but I find during the month of Ramadan that they do tend to be a little bit more irritated, probably by not having to be able to eat or drink or smoke or any of those things. And so I find that they are good and they try their best, but I think they do struggle sometimes, especially in the first 2 weeks or so. So otherwise I have a fantastic relationship with all my colleagues, and I've never really had any major issues or seen any major issues of anybody, but I respect the religion and I respect what they're doing. I think it's fantastic, and it is because they need to center themselves, I think, and to find a little bit more spirituality in giving, and that they feel a bit more for the people that don't have. So I'm greatly respectful for that.
Masjid Al-Quds hosts their annual Interfaith Iftar program. This year, the guests included Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Premier Helen Ziller.
The whole concept of the Interfaith Iftar started very strangely from a similar event that has been conducted every year at the White House in Washington in America. President Barack Obama started this 7 years ago when he invited different people from various faith groups to come and experience what is the iftar. And we at Masjid Al-Quds, we felt that if they could have done that, calling the Muslims to the White House for iftar, we felt we could do something similar, but call people from different religious denominations to the house of Allah and show them how iftar is done. This is the 4th year that we've had it. It's an annual event on the second Sunday of the blessed month of Ramadan. In the past, we've had many dignitaries, including the Mayor of Cape Town, many people from the world of academia as well as civil society. This year, we had extended an invitation to the Deputy President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, who unfortunately, because of the elections coming up, could not make it. But the cherry on the top was that we had today the mosque being graced by none other than Archbishop Desmond Tutu, as well as the Premier of the Western Cape, Mrs. Helen Ziller, and many other dignitaries, especially the CEO of the Human Sciences Research Council, and a number of other people. The event today has gone off extremely well in the sense that we could reach out to people from the Hindu faith, from the Christian faith, from the Jewish faith, and importantly, people who may not even be faith inclined, that we could show them the side of Islam that should be shown. And the speech that Sheikh Saadullah Khan made was an absolutely brilliant speech in that context, that he could reach out to people to show them that Islam, at the end of the day, is a religion of peace and not what is projected in the world media today.
Where religion is abused to justify the injustices of self-righteous extremists. In such a world, there's a greater need for kindness and understanding than ever before. We need to collectively practice and preach that religion pursues principles of peace and does not promote a culture of violence. That our worship, though seemingly ritual, is in reality spiritual and meaningful. That ours is a philosophy of love, not an attitude of hate. That our law, as encapsulated in the golden rule common to all faith traditions, love for others what you love for yourself, Or as Rabbi Hillel said, that is the whole of the law, the rest is only commentary.
People are absolutely elated at the fact that they receive an invitation to come into the mosque. Many people have never ever been into the mosque, so this for them is a great experience. Even today, as people were leaving, they couldn't thank us enough because of the fact that it was an experience which they felt they've never had in their life, and one that they will always cherish for many, many years to come.
The Consul General of the Indian High Commission in Cape Town, Punit R. Kundal, gives his perspective of a global Ramadan.
Well, let me first say Ramadan in India is no different from Ramadan here, or for that matter anywhere in the world. I have, as an Indian diplomat, I have lived in Egypt, I have lived in the Gulf, I have lived in Muscat, I have lived in India, of course, and now in Cape Town. And I see that I have lived in Belgium, in Brussels. And Ramadan, it brings the same festive spirit everywhere. I think the logic behind Ramadan, the spirit behind Ramadan is the same everywhere. I come from India with a 120 million population, Muslim population. I understand the spirit of Ramadan. I understand the month of piousness, the month of sacrifice. I think it's a beautiful time to celebrate for all of us. Well, the personal lesson that I take out of Islamic faith is when you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. I think that's my lesson. The first surah of the Quran is the complete lesson for all humanity. I think the feeling that one should be a good person, one should not harm anyone, and one should try to make others comfortable in your presence, that is something that drives me.
South Africans living abroad compare their Ramadan
rough count of about 7,500 South Africans in Qatar, and as of today we have about 7,501 because I have with me next to me who joined me at Jummah, Sheikh Faik Hamildin, who many of you in South Africa and in Cape Town specifically will know, our learned scholar from Cape Town. And Sheikh, you're in Doha enjoying Ramadan.
Yes, I think it's a great privilege and honor to be in the Arabian Peninsula at this auspicious time in the Muslim calendar. I've just come from Umrah, and I must say the atmosphere here is quite electric, whether you're in Makkah or Medina or I think anywhere in the Arabian Peninsula. And one thing that always strikes me when I get here is that in Cape Town, when we have Ramadan at some of our masajid, we import some of the best qaris from all over the world. People come from Egypt, even from Saudi Arabia, and to come and read for us, and we look forward to that, and our masjids are filled. And when you come to the Arabian Peninsula, you find that every mosque has a qari that is of the highest standards. I mean, every single mosque, whether you go to a small mosque, a big mosque, a state mosque, people are just so they're so concerned, and they treat the Quran with a lot of respect. And I think for me the most important thing is just the atmosphere. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's an atmosphere of worship, of ibadah, of being conscious of Ramadan wherever you look and wherever you go. So yeah, again I end up by saying, I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having given me this opportunity to be here. And I was apprehensive when I came this time because Ramadan is in the heat of summer. As Ridwan has pointed out, it's 45 degrees. But I find that, in fact, the heat has energized me rather than being a negative factor in my Ramadan. So yes, it depends. It's all in the mind. It's an attitude that I think we have. And I think the same with that cold in Cape Town. It's just an attitude. One has to accept it and move on and see it as a blessing from Allah. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you, and Ramadan Kareem to everybody.
Inspirational and motivational speaker Abdul Ghani Babu Fablanca shares his insights on how one should live their life.
We are always told to seek knowledge, and we fail sometimes to think. We think of knowledge as that we have to read this, we have to study that. But that is not quite true. The fact is that the more knowledge you seek, the stronger you become. In fact, I like to say it this way, that the more knowledge I have and the more I apply knowledge, the more I blunt the edge of fear. I can douse the fires of fear simply by knowing more. By knowing more, you tend to understand more. And the minute you understand more, you feel, hey, I can do this. It is when you limit yourself in seeking that knowledge that you limit yourself in achieving that which you desire in your life. Why should you do this? It's in your hands.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan reminder 24. Must be kind to orphans and make sure you give them a lot of food and visit them. Ameen.
Sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم الله إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا عليه مجددا إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا عليه مجددا يلا إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا عليه مجددا صلي وسلم سيدي ما جاء الذكر محمدي صلي وسلم سيدي ما جاء الذكر محمدي في قلب كل موحد ذاق المقام الأحمدي إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا عليه مجددا بالله أقسم صادقا وجمال وجهك مشرقا بالله أقسم صادقا وجبال وجهك مشرقا وجمال 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 بالله أقسم صادقا وجمال وجهك مشرقا ما ينفع قلب توقى إلا وفيك المرتقى إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا سر العربي ولا أنت تعلم ما ربي ما غير وجهك مطلبي إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على المدى أبدا عليه مجددا إني أحب محمدا والله خير شهيدا يا ربي صل على